SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm going to talk to you today about gold. That's right, so I'm going to talk to you about gold, and I don't expect anybody to watch it because it's supposed to be a crypto related video, but look, most people probably watch my videos and go, hang on a minute, he's talking about Forex, he's talking about all this boring stuff prior to even getting into Bitcoin, before we even look at an altcoin, because I try to put things into such context, because there's one large market in this world, right, and everything basically has rotations from this, that, and the other. They're all interconnected, which is why I always start every video with Forex, then maybe some indices, and potentially some stocks, then maybe some precious metals, then Bitcoin, and then some altcoins, because I'm just trying to put it into context that one altcoin might point to a direction and might not do it. Anyway, I'm doing it again, but in reverse here. I'm talking about altcoins. I'm supposed to be talking about gold. So I thought I'd talk about gold on this one video, because I strongly feel that the gold price has a direct correlation to the Bitcoin price, right? And so gold, in my opinion, based on the technical analysis, looks actually quite bullish. And this is the weekly gold here. We're pushing the 20 weekly moving average here. So a Bollinger Band center on a weekly. Now, because we're below it, you would expect a rejection from it. That's normally the case. So whichever direction, whichever portion of the Bollinger Band you're in, you're 65% more likely to remain in that portion. So if that's the case, then we'll be looking for this to be rejected here and then sort of find a way down. However, not that it changes the statistics of that particularly, but which direction the moving averages are pointing to is usually the direction that the trend is going in, right? That's usually the case. There's other reasons and other ways to say, okay, well, that might not be the case, but for the most part, that's it. So if a moving average, especially the lower term time frames like 200 simple, exponential, 50, or any of them generally, if they point up, then that is the way that the price action wants to go, regardless of which direction or which portion of the Bollinger Band you're in. So we are 65% more likely to find a rejection from here, but the beauty of this is that it's moving up. So with every single week that goes by, for what would probably be another few weeks, even if we stay below it, the Bollinger Band center, this 20 simple moving average on the weekly, is going to continue to go up before it flattens out and curls over, and that would be, maybe the start of a more consistent downtrend consolidation, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm bullish on gold, even though the weekly is saying a rejection is likely at this point now. I'm not convinced that it's going to happen. So if we have a look over here on the daily, we see that we're above all major moving averages, and for the most part, they're all pointing up. In fact, they are all pointing up, and most of them in the right place as well. We came down to test a 200 exponential moving average, which is usually a good sign, whether it's an exponential or a simple. We call it a golden cross retest. We already had one over here, went on to basically make a new high. We consolidated quite nicely from that. You can see the breakout of the Bollinger Band itself around here, and now we're pushing the top of the band. We haven't broken super bullish, no setup for the Ichimoku cloud, for instance. So with that, all we're looking for is trend and a breakout of a trend line, which is your Bollinger Band center, and continuation up. And we're also seeing a very significant retest of a decent moving average, being a 200 exponential. And we should be looking for a recovery on this one, maybe to a new all-time high, but certainly I would imagine back up to this candle body high, which is around 2050. Let's take it to a 4 hourly to see what's going on with the 4 hourly. So the 4 hourly is actually really good, with a fresh golden cross that was generated down here, which would mean that, in a perfect world, we'd be looking for a retest of that, which would be a pullback of about 1% really at this current price action where we're at right now. It may not happen this time, it might happen later on down the line, but that is strength of trend strengthening. We've got exponential moving average cross here, bullish, and another one here, bullish. Now, just because they've crossed doesn't mean that we go straight up from here. We see this all the time. It doesn't happen every time, but all the time. People talk about golden crosses like they are a signal in themselves. They're bullish, but they're not an actual signal. What they're showing is strength of trend, and what you often find is a washout of trades of people that might have even used these as a signal and gone, yeah, there's a golden cross, enter with 100x. No, the best way to look at this would be, okay, so we're trending up. We're building strength on the 4 hourly, which should then move over to the daily and then to the weekly and so on and so on. So what you'd be really looking for would be an entry point if you haven't got an entry point in gold already. We're talking derivatives here. If you're buying gold outright, that's fine. You don't really care. You're investing in it, you're buying it, you're holding it, that's fine. It's spot trading, whatever. So yeah, 1% pullback would be appropriate on gold, and it would be an opportunity to buy that little dip. If we also just have a look at the extension of this trend line that we've got here, we can move that over, and basically both golden crosses are more or less above that level, 1940. So I'd be quite happy to say a pullback to around 1940 would be an entry point on derivatives. I'm not saying that you should do that. Obviously, only trade derivatives if you know what you're doing. And if you know what you're doing, you're probably not watching this video. Or maybe you do know what you're doing, but you just want somebody else's perspective, whether you're a perma bear or a perma bull. I like to watch perma bears and perma bulls, so I don't fall into the trap of listening to any particular bias, for instance. And these guys are on the extremes. I'm pretty moderate with what I say, to be honest with you. So yeah, gold looks good on the 4 hourly. It looks good on the daily. It's more or less getting ready to look good on the weekly. And with that said, it's going to look good generally. So I'll be looking for gold to continue up. And like I say, for gold is what's good for gold should be good for Bitcoin. People don't like the analogy that it's digital gold, but it basically is. People like to sniff at the fact that it's what do they call it? Store of value. But it is. You just got to buy it more or less at the right time. And time in the market usually trumps timing the market, especially with something like gold or probably Bitcoin as well. I mean, look at it like this. Bitcoin, where are we? 30,000 at the moment. Where were we like 5 years ago? 3,000, 4,000. It's a store of value, mate. That is a store of value. The only problem that you've got is time, and that's the only component that you've got to worry about. Would you rather have had 3,000 or 4,000 pounds sitting in your account in 2019, or would you rather have had the equivalent in Bitcoin in 2019? Just put it into that perspective. It is a store of value, but it's the time component. It is all you need to worry about. So yeah, gold looks good. I imagine that would be good for Bitcoin. The only thing that's going to start to bring this down now would be the Dixie, and the Dixie is still bearish, to be honest with you. I'm not looking for a Dixie reversal, not quite yet, but there are areas down here that might start to cause a little bit of concern starting from now, but it's a bit of a boxy territory, and this is, I don't like to look at the Dixie as a chart on its own, although it has been very neat and tidy in this channel that it's been in. Which is why we were able to spot the top, weren't we? We were able to spot the top, not just on the Dixie, but we used dollar yen as a way to spot the top. So I would be looking for roughly this area as a major bounce zone, but it would only be a bounce in the context of another lower high, but it could be a significant bounce, and with a significant bounce on the Dixie can bring all these other assets down. So although the charts currently say down for Dixie, up for gold, nothing goes down forever, nothing goes up forever without some kind of correction involved. And the Dixie is moving into a box between 99.60 down to 97.77, where we'd be thinking, all right, maybe we start to see some kind of bounce around here. But as you see on the daily here, no bullish divergence taking place, just falling from the sky. Take it to a 4 hourly, what do we see here? No bullish divergence, just falling from the sky. Take it to a weekly, what do we see? The bullish divergence was cancelled out and the bearish divergence kicked in and brought it down from its peak. So yeah, and again, looking at this on a weekly basis, we do have the 200 exponential sitting at the top of this this box, and the 200 simple moving average towards the bottom of the box. So I would be very surprised if we didn't see a reasonably large bounce, maybe even back up to the top of this level, back up to just almost 101, starting from either here or down here. And that's the only thing you've got to worry about really when you're trading these markets at the moment. As it stands currently, things do look up, and they are pointing up only. But it won't be like that forever. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Good luck with gold, good luck with Bitcoin. You'll need a little extra luck with altcoins in the short term, certainly, but all markets still look pretty favourable for continuation of the current trend. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.